Welcome to American Agenda. I'm Bob Sellers here with Diane Dimond. What started as a bipartisan infrastructure deal a few days ago is now coming under fire from both sides of the aisle, ironic, and maybe dead on arrival in the Senate. Senate Budget Committee Chairman Bernie Sanders and other prominent Democrats now saying they will not support the bill because it's not large enough and won't do enough for the country. So what happened to compromise? Joining us now to discuss, Democratic analyst Jonathan Harris and Republican strategist Jessica McClain. Jessica, we had heard Biden wants a deal. We had heard he's going to get a bipartisan deal. Then you had 5 and 5 Democrats and Republicans coming to a deal. And now Bernie says, no, I'm not in. So what's going on here?
Well, it's vitally important that the Republicans and Democrats can come together and reach a mutual decision because, let's face it, there's no way you can continue getting a thorough, thriving, flourishing, growing economy with high taxes and regulations. The American people are first, and what they're looking for is some sort of debt forgiveness program, not to fork out more money and pay more dollars. That's not going to increase anything and help put them in a better position.
Jonathan, what do you think? Does Bernie Sanders, the Bernie Sanders-led coalition against this compromise have enough clout?
You know, I think Bernie Sanders does come with a bit of credibility here. And I know that he was saying that he was not going to vote for this if there was not a more progressive way to pay for it. And so that's going to be a huge problem going forward. And it looks like there was a news story out of the Hill today that was talking about how the Democrats are saying that they're giving about 7 to 10 days to really come up with a bipartisan solution, or they're going to move forward with reconciliation. And it's hard to see, kind of the deeper you dig into this, it's hard to see how they're going to be able to avoid that, because the bigger the bill gets, the more Republican support they're going to lose, and the smaller it gets, the more Democrats they're going to lose.
That's the catch-22, Jonathan. I think you're exactly right. So is there going to be a deal, or are they just going to try to say, we're going to try to get it through reconciliation?
I think there's a good chance that they're going to probably end up going through reconciliation and going big. Because at the end of the day, they do have a mandate. I mean, you could look at it that way and say they have a mandate, and they did attempt a bipartisan approach. And if they can't get it, they are able to do it through reconciliation and go big instead of kind of narrowing the scope so much that it puts off the Democrats.
Big sounds expensive.
Yeah, it sure does. Hey, Jessica, let me ask you, and for people out there who are wondering, what's in this bill anyway? Infrastructure. I mean, we know the Democrats wanted to balloon that out to include childcare and housing subsidies and all sorts of things. But right now, is it pared down a bit to bridges, roads, hospitals? I mean, real infrastructure?
You know, well, I'm no financial guru because that's not my expertise, but it comes down to logic and reason. And if we continue, I understand the American people need help, and there's a strategy in place where we want to provide stimulus packages and plans. But you have to remember, if we're going to come out on the other side growing and on top of this, how are we going to do that when you continue to dish out, $1 trillion stimulus? I think this is now the third round of them. I would like to see the Democrats and Republicans come together and try to find middle ground on this. But again, if we do go too big, we all know as American people, we're going to have to pay that back somewhere. Where are those taxes going to go? And gas tax, I know that was circulated in that article in the Hill this morning, earlier today. But gas tax has always been going around for years, and that's not really going to put any sort of effect into the plan and what they want to see moving forward. But on top of this, better yet, come up with some sort of forgiveness debt plan where you can wipe out all of the evictions for renters. You can come up with some sort of plan for mortgage homeowners, landlords, and people that are having to sustain their commercialized businesses. Instead of increasing debt, we need to find ways to decrease that and help the people.
That should be in another bill. I used to cover Capitol Hill. That's not infrastructure, but I agree that all that's important.
And too much is going to be in
tax, I think.
Jonathan, very quickly, what, sir?
Oh, I was just saying on the Sunday shows, Susan Collins said there would be no gas tax, and it also wouldn't undo the 2017 tax bill as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yet, as we sit here, there is no bill.
That's right. So, Jonathan
Harris and Jessica McClain.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, you guys. And, of course, pouring trillions in, we talked earlier about what that does to inflation.
If it's too much, yeah.